Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my tarot channel. I wanted to do a quick tarot reading for you today. And let's see what the first card is. What do we need to know? Ace of Cups. I think that you're maybe in a time where you're expanding your heart space, or like there's something happening there. Maybe you just even more positive feelings that have been happening in the past. You're definitely possibly in a place where you're thinking of possible new options for your life, like travel, new place to live, new situation. I'm also thinking like new options with career or finance here. You feel like you're in between a choice, like you can't make a choice, maybe paralyzed by the idea of choice. And it's like overwhelming, and I feel an energy of like just maybe even disdain. Like maybe there's some sort of situation where you feel like here's what I'm seeing. The difference between like experiencing life through the head and the heart, okay? That's where the duality is coming, because there's two here, two wands. So some situation you're like, over analyzing. You're like, this happened, I don't like this person, blah, 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 they're mean, blah, 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 whatever. And the other part is like, I can see who they are. Like, I don't like give them this one-sided view, and like I can give the benefit of the doubt. And then also you feel like these thoughts are just burdening you. You're like, you may be like overwhelmed by, and there may have been like an ending with this person that it was like a burden, actually, the relationship in some way. I'm not sure why. Definitely had to move on and find your own path, and there was something that was like pulling you back energetically, and then recently you did some like energetic work to let go of this. We just got the same card again. Yeah, just pause here. So when that happens, I feel like it's spirit just speaking super loud, like you need to slow down here. This is an important card, and I guess it's like a painful card, because it's a card of moving on, letting go, letting be, trying to live our own lives, and trying to realize when something has like played out its course, played its hand. I'm seeing a paintbrush. You may be trying to create a new life for yourself. You may be trying to also, one way I like to use a paintbrush is putting water on it, and then, or whatever medium you're using, whether it's oil paint or watercolor or acrylic, and then washing out pigment with water as an erasure tool. So sorry, that's like a weird artist thing. Instead of like, wiping it off with paper or whatever you want to do, I like to like take the brush as an eraser. So you may be like erasing something that happened energetically. You're just like, I don't care about this anymore. And that takes realization. You have to be like, what happened? What happened? I'm almost seeing somebody who was like maybe on medication for something, and they're like coming off of it, and they're having to deal with trauma. But that medication served a purpose, and it was helpful, okay? Like, I feel like I'm talking to someone who maybe has been through like a temporary like issue, or even it could just be a health medication. Like, it doesn't have to be like mental health. The Hanged Man. I think sometimes it's hard for you to be in this state of waiting and pause, and it's hard for you to like not know what's next. And I also think that being in this state has made you, I think you're really independent right now. I think that like, I'm just getting a really independent energy, like a Aquarius energy, where you're just, I think you're really validating your viewpoint, and you're in control in a different way in your life than you ever have been, maybe. But also, I feel that there's someone who was controlling you, so I think you're not in their grasp anymore. And that has to do with the freedom, because like you were like, I'm not going to be controlled by anyone, and you're like, I'm going to hold on to myself. Sorry. I'm going to hold on to my life and my goodness and my feelings, and preserve myself. Self-preservation. yesterday was May Day. I feel like that's a specific thing in like lore that I would usually go over. Oh, is it Mabon? Is that maybe what I'm talking about? Just like the spring festival. I don't know what day the spring equinox is. I should look that up. But since I'm talking about the equinox, maybe you're in a situation where like it's like right half and half. Like you're right about ready to move on. I'm hearing like, what is it? Right good? I don't know, I'm hearing some sort of like vernacular of like people who talk in Pennsylvania, and maybe you like have some family in Pennsylvania. I can't like do the accent, I'm not gonna try, but I'm specifically hearing like a Pennsylvania slang. I think right good is specifically one thing that they might say. Maybe that's not the phrase, but it's like, I'm just here, I feel like maybe that could be significant. Maybe like your ancestors or family is from like Pennsylvania, or you like know somebody in Pennsylvania, Philly area, or just Pennsylvania in general. I'm thinking of this artist whose house I still have yet to go to, but he's actually a craftsman whose house is in Pennsylvania, and he carved his whole house out of wood. I think that like there's something really unique about you, the person who's watching. There's something very handmade, hand done, hand sewn. I'm getting some channeling now, so I might stop the cards. You have to get more comfortable being in this place of indecision. It's not indecision. It's, you've had to, like, I'm seeing someone who had something happen. It could even just be young, like an old issue that you had to like blind yourself to live your life. And now, with all the cards we got before, I feel like you're using that skill for peace. That's really smart of you. You're like, I can not block things out, but I think that's the theme of this reading. It's because we got the water, sort of washing out paint with water with a paintbrush. It's like, you're using your skills to like make something happen in your work life, maybe financially, but also just I see like goals that you're like working towards. And I felt like before you were too hasty, that you were like, I give up. And now let's just get a final card. What's hidden from the viewer? So the Hierophant reversed and Ten of Pentacles. You're headed towards some sort of prosperity, and I don't see you alone. I see you with others, either in a family or a non-traditional family. I see something non-traditional actually also with the Hierophant reverse. It's like something, it's like almost by following the anti-tradition you find your abundance. Okay, and then I'm just going to do some channeled messages. Okay. Seeing a rose immediately. I don't know if like you're a gardener or there's something important about roses for you. Makes me think of Beauty and the Beast and how like the rose was kept in the attic under a glass, and it was like losing its petals, and I think it's his mortality or something. There may be a dynamic in your life where one person was like unruly and the other person, and you could both be mirroring each other in different ways, because there could be aspects that you each were like this and not. One person's unruly and one person's like more whatever, like put together in some ways. And there was like an interaction where one person tried to help the other, like, you know, as Beauty helped the Beast. But I think that gets complicated because the Beast helped Beauty too. I mean, Belle, what's her name? Yeah, you should really watch the French version of Beauty and the Beast. It's like old. Is it a silent film maybe? It's really good, and I think it is a silent film, and it's like just like kind of freaky. I'm also thinking of the Wizard of Oz 2. I think it's like Return to Oz, and it's like kind of this dystopian narrative. I don't know if you feel like you're in some other landscape than your life feels like foreign to you right now. You're like almost thinking of the Talking Heads song, like, this is not my beautiful house. You know, you're just like looking around at your life and you're like, what is this? Maybe you're feeling like just disassociated from your life right now. I'm not sure why. It has to do with the indecision. This is not my beautiful wife. I'll put that song below. Oh, I had a very clear image of what I was going to talk about next, but it just had to do more with like disillusionment and I was thinking of the Truman Show again, which has come through before, just like that you're like, yeah, just maybe the things you're wanting have changed. Maybe like there's been in the past 3 years like some realizations about your life where you're just like in a completely new place. Yeah. Let me see what I'm called to talk about here. I'm gonna look at your auric fields, do some astral projection for a second, which is just envisioning your energy in my mind, and what you're doing, what you're thinking about, and then I'll do some confirmations. I think that you're doing a lot of, I'm seeing someone pacing around. If you're not doing that literally, then you're doing it mentally, or maybe just driving around. Like there's a restless energy. And I also see the color green. Also green turning into orange. That's really specific. Okay, Halloween. Maybe there's something around October where things are going to shift in your life. Okay, that's just maybe some prophetic premonition here. Like in October, it's like maybe there's a goal that you're making that could be realized in October, or maybe that's a deadline for you to have changed things. I don't know. Also, maybe someone significant is born in October. Maybe the person's watching is born in October. But also, that is another equinox. I think it's around there. Is it? Since I keep getting equinoxes, I think that there's something that you need to do, like ritualistically, to clear some energy. I'm just feeling like the pacing, there's like something that you're attached to energetically. I posted some like cord cutting stuff, and it's not even that that person is like bad and that we would never talk to them again. It's cutting the cord of what this dysfunction or this narrative is, you know, because it's not healthy. It's not serving you, and they're attached to it too. And I think that both people would need to be more free. Because what I'm talking about is like sort of soul connections that like linger and then affect our energy, and maybe we're not even talking to that person, but it's like in our field, in our auric field, and I see it in your field, that there's old ties, old friendships, old energies, old situations that are in this muck, and it's like, that's okay, no shame, but it may be time to release some of those. I recommend like just some trance work. I always recommend exercise, maybe just like some hypnosis. Journaling is really good to like know the inner voice. I keep hearing El Dorado. El Dorado. Is that, I'm not sure if that's the jungle that leads to gold in the, the road that leads to gold in the jungle, but that is a myth that in the Amazon jungle there's like a path that leads to like a temple with like riches and gold, but no one's found it. I think there's an inner temple within you that has like guided you through your life that you've created for yourself, and it's really cool. And it's like other people around you are like, oh, she's got this or he's got this like inner temple. Like it's almost like you're like, I'm seeing like not fazed by crazy hard stuff that would like affect other people. You know, you're just like, okay, cool. All right, yeah, this is happening. And that has to do with like you're brushing things away with the paintbrush. It's not like you're erasing it. It's like you're just like, oh, I see that differently now. Now it's like blurred out. Now I don't care. Now it's like I've moved on, moving on. That's why I got the moving on card a lot. Twice actually. This is enough. So, I don't know if you ever tried Reiki, but it's kind of cool. I did it a bunch of times in my youth. You can also just do it on yourself. And my sister became like certified and used to do it on me. I feel like there's some energies coming through here at the end of the reading. I was doing some like trance work to like let myself open up before, so that makes sense. There's someone with a J name, Jillian, or someone also with a Z name that is watching. You're being seen. There's a lot of people who are watching who your guides or your energies are saying like pedals, like a bike. At first I thought it was pedals like on a I heard pedals and I thought it was petals on a flower, but I saw pedals on a bike. So it's like I'm almost seeing the training wheels being taken off. Like it's about this time right now. What's happening in the energy is like you're like, okay, I don't need this old situation. Let's see if I can channel any animals. I'm gonna do some more confirmations. I'm seeing a turtle. Of course, slow and steady wins the race. And I'm also thinking of like, sorry, I'm thinking about like fungi. I know that's disgusting, sorry. But like mushrooms and like just fungus that grows in the woods, really specifically, and how like diverse that is. I think this is like a vague reading, but your guides are saying that like there's situations that you don't realize are growing into toxicity, or that they did grow into toxicity at a certain point and then were used. Oh, this is really interesting. You use that toxicity to find a new perspective of your life, which is, I guess, what mushrooms is meant for if you've ever tried them. Don't worry, I don't do mushrooms, but no, I'm not against that. I'm seeing a panther. I think that, you know, panthers are so dark and they hide in the night. I think you've been almost like invisible. Like if you're in a situation where you're like being stealth, you're like in stealth mode. Or you have to be like super shrewd is what I'm hearing. And your guides are saying like, you may have had some animal experiences that like made you feel very aware in the last couple months. Anyway, like I also am getting some confirmations like anyone with who was born in January in general, anyone born with the letter L in their first name, anyone with the numbers 7 and 2 in their birth date, anyone born in February, especially the end of the month, anyone born November 30th through December 14th, anyone born in June, especially the middle of June, the middle decan of June, people born specifically in October, sorry, just like the end of the month specifically. Cusp people born at the cusp of the month, anyone who's watching with that, which is the end or the beginning of the month. So they're gonna get a lot of cusp people. I'm gonna get back to the, I think I said some colors before. I'll get back to what I meant with those. I'm seeing like pennies. You know, pennies are going out of like being made. There's like a penny shortage. I think that you don't realize how rare you are, that like you feel like you're just like everybody else, but there's like rare qualities that you have, and learning to see your trauma differently or to see your life path differently is going to help others, and it's going to open up your life to some big abundance, is what I'm seeing. Some more confirmations. People born on the 25th in general. Anyway, names. Again, Catherine, Calliope, which could just be like you like astrology. Kristen, Molly, Imogen. These could be important names of people you know, or just like things that matter to you, or your name. Bryce, Reed, Mary, Marcus, Abby, Ben, Luke, Luca, Kate, Katie, Catherine, Candace, Tallulah, Shatrice, Bowdoin College, Bowdoin, let's see, Michaela, Michael, St. Michael, also, Francis, also St. Francis. Also, just like, let's get some other confirmations. Locations, somebody in Michigan. It's been heavy hitting me lately in my energy fields. Oregon, somebody in California. I'm hearing Sausalito, I don't know. Somebody in Mexico or with Mexican heritage. I'm hearing Albania, somebody with Albanian heritage, or like also just Lebanese heritage. Somebody who grew up in the Midwest. Somebody from Kansas, or who spent time in Kansas. Somebody watching from Florida. And a couple of people in Maine right now, or by the time they watch this, obviously. New York City, people in New York City. I'm not getting any other locations besides France. These could also just be places that are important to you, okay? Or that you've been, that mattered to you. More confirmations and messages. Confirmations. Let's just do, like, imagery. I'm seeing, like, a seesaw and kids on a seesaw. You may have children. You may be, like, raising children, or you may be, like, in a seesaw situation where it's, like, your life feels a little bit like you're playing hot potato, okay? I'm almost seeing you want to get out of a situation, and you're seeing another situation that you would like to go towards, but it doesn't seem possible right now. But the seesaw is a catapult. It's just a matter of putting weight on one situation so that you can catapult yourself forward, which is about physics. So I feel like I'm talking to someone who needs to simplify their goals into a seesaw physics equation. Where can I put weight on something that will catapult me towards a new situation? And that has to do with setting up a simple math problem in your life with variables that are new or different. And you tell me what those are. And just closing notes from spirit. You gotta move on. Something really, it's almost like I'm seeing a tooth that's when people pull a tooth that's with a kid, they tie it, it's almost out, and the kid's bothering the kid, so they tie it to a door and close the door, and it hurts, but it's it was dangling, so it was more of a danger to have it like that. I'm talking about kids when they're losing their teeth. Could tie it to a drawer and close the drawer. It's a little bad, but it's better than having a dangling tooth. Yeah, I'm just with that, I'm just getting there's things that you're growing into, or letting go of, changing. There's some anxiety too. That's what I think Freud says about teeth dreams, is about just about bodily anxiety. But you got to see that those new teeth are gonna come. You're going through some sort of transitional phase, and I'm seeing the tooth fairy, which relates to the beginning of the reading when I was talking about fairies. And I'm also just seeing a circle of safety, because fairies dance in a circle in the woods, in the dirt, because they're small, and they make fairy rings. So there's circles of safety around you. And I want you to envision a circle of safety around you. Literally just a circle. You could envision it made out of dirt or ash floating around you, which is weird, but it's an imagery, it's like a technique. You know, picture that dirt as like sacred bacteria that's like guarding your immune system. That could be one cool thing. Or just like sacred earth that's like literally acting as a sacred barrier between you and any negativity. And that's the reading.